Who's gonna drive you home? Well, I'm a friendless stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? On the expressway to your heart.
All right, we call that the drive montage. That's the theme for the auto show. Chip Lyness back with Louie Herron from Louie Herron Toyota. We are glad you join us every week, every Saturday morning at 9, every Monday morning at 11. Today we're talking about used cars.
Yeah, no, you had a great point. Share what we spoke off the air. Tell what you just said was a very good point.
Yeah, one of the things that changed me from a new car person to a used car person, back when I first started buying cars, back in the 70s and 80s, you bought a used car with 30,000 miles on it, and it was half used up. Cars went 75 or 80,000 miles.
Right.
Now, you find a 30,000-mile car, and it's just getting broken in.
It's just getting rolling. And that's where the certification comes in place. I mean, again, we've done shows in the past. It's the whole show is about certified. So I'm going to get into just a couple of things, but just so you know, more and more of the manufacturers are offering the CPO cars. That stands for Certified Pre-Owned Programs. And these cars really bridge the gap between new and used, Chip. I mean, because the inspection process and the repair process is usually all covered by the manufacturer. The CPO cars typically cost a little bit more, but in the end, they give you tremendous peace of mind because they're backed by the manufacturer. I mean, for example, if I look at the CPO process, and I don't know if you know this, but let's just take I'll just say Acura, or let's just take Cadillac, for example. Do you know how much money that the Cadillac dealer has to send the manufacturer to be able to certify the car? In other words, a Cadillac dealer is going to certify the car. They claim that it's a certified car. To do that, they've got to pay the manufacturer for the certification process. Do you have any idea what that costs?
I have no clue.
Okay. Cadillac, $1,195 is what they got to send to Cadillac just to be able to certify the car. But for that, there's a 172-point inspection. There's a 48-month warranty from the original in-service date, and they only certify Cadillacs with less than 50,000 miles. Okay, so there's some criteria. So in other words, if you're sitting there and you say, okay, so what do I get? I buy a certified car. Well, if we stay with Cadillac, you get a 6-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You get a three months of OnStar and XM radio at no additional cost. You get roadside assistance, trip interruption protection, and courtesy transportation, and zero deductible out of your pocket if there's any kind of repairs. Okay, so when we talk about it costs a little more, obviously a $15,000 Cadillac, you got to send Cadillac $1,200. Now it becomes a $16,200 Cadillac, right? So yes, in the end, some of those get passed on to the consumer in the price point of the vehicle. But what you get for it is you get warranty protection, you get peace of mind, you get additional goodies, whether it's roadside assistance, whether it's key lockout, whether it's OnStar, whether it's XM radio. And more importantly, you get the backing of the manufacturer. And so what that means is when you go into a Cadillac dealer or a Toyota dealer or a Chevrolet dealer, it's been certified. It's a CPO car. It works like a new car. You go in, it's under the certified warranty.
I think that's a lot of times that the general public is not aware of that. I think they think that the car dealer just says, well, I'm going to make that a certified car. Put it on the lot as certified.
In fact, that's a good point. You cannot certify any car you want. It's got to be able to be certified, which means, Lincoln goes through a 200-point inspection. Mazda goes through a 150-point inspection.
Wow.
A Mitsubishi, for crying out loud, goes through a 123-point inspection just to be able, and it's got to pass it.
Yep.
If it doesn't pass it, it cannot be certified.
They got to get it corrected.
The service manager has to sign off on it. The dealer has to sign off on it, and the manufacturer has to accept it before you can put it out front and call it a certified car. So it is tremendous peace of mind. So when you're considering a used car and you're talking about saving some money, remember you can get more car for the money. You can buy a 1 or 2 year old car and save tons of depreciation. You can still have peace of mind with a certified warranty. But now let's consider what's the bad side. Well, if you buy a used car, traditionally the financing is going to be more expensive on the car than on a new car. You're not typically going to get 0% financing. But most of the certified cars do come with subvented rates from the manufacturer. So you can get 2.9, 1.9. Now, that may only be for 36 months, but if you go for 60 months, they may only go to 4.9.
I see.
So you may pay that, but keep in mind also, and I'm not an insurance guy, but typically and I got some insurance buddies that may listen to the show. Typically, insurance is a little cheaper on used than a new.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of that could offset some of the difference in interest rate charges. But I will say this. If I'm buying a used car and I'm a consumer in the marketplace and I know that I could get 0%, okay, and buy a $25,000 new car, or I can get 2.9 and buy an $18,000 pre-owned car that's certified, I got more equipment and it's bigger. I was going to get a new Camry. Now I'm getting a pre-owned Avalon. It's certified. I'm getting more equipment, better car, saved depreciation, and it's certified by the manufacturer. You got to consider it.
Yep. And Louie, not just that, but since the used car is less than a new car, you may not be getting 0%, but you may not be paying for 72 months.
Absolutely.
You might be paying for 36 or 48.
Absolutely. So when you're on your quest and you're in the market for a new car or a new pre-owned car, or let's just say you're in the market for a newer car than what you're driving, I'm telling you, consider a used car. Consider all the options. Consider the money you can save. Consider the depreciation. Consider the bells and whistles that you can probably afford to get. Consider the size. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of circumstances that go in. You want a truck. You can afford a single cab brand new truck. But you know what? Maybe you can get a crew cab truck that's 2 years old with 22,000 miles. That's a certified pre-owned car. I mean, that could fit your lifestyle better. Could fit your needs better. And when it's all said and done, you can still have the backing of the manufacturer with the certified warranty.
Louie, do most people, when they come on the lot, drive up to your dealership, do they know whether they want new or used? Or some people just say, let me see them both?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a mixed bag. Most people think they know what they want, and they end up buying something different. It really depends on the salesperson, and if he's knowledgeable or she's knowledgeable enough to explain the benefits and give the consumer options. One of the things, as we talk about on the show, is the apprehension a consumer has. When you get them on a lot, you don't trust the salesperson very well. You're nervous, you're uncomfortable, and you can't stand the process you're about to begin. So you're not as open-minded. So anytime a salesperson were to speak, you're a little skeptical. Yes. Why is he trying to put me on a used car? What is his thoughts? Does he make more money on a used? What you have to understand is the salesperson has either straight commission or a minimum flat. Whether they sell a car, doesn't matter, depending on the dealership. So ultimately, if it's a professional salesperson, they are going to make sure they do a great needs analysis. In fact, find for you, the consumer, what do you need? What brought you into the market? What is most important to you? What can you live without? What do you have to have? Once you gather that information, then we select the right car, and a good salesperson will give options. It's no different than a real estate salesperson. You go into the office, you know what you want. 3-bedroom, ranch style, pool in the backyard. Before it's all said and done, you may have gotten something completely different, but you know what? You're in love. It fits your needs. But if that sales professional didn't guide you and say, look, I've got this option. It's more square foot. It's actually $10,000 cheaper, and it's everything you wanted and a little bit more, you are a very happy buyer.
Okay, one other question. Does credit score have anything to do with it? Can you have a lower credit score and qualify for a used car where you may not a new car?
Most of the time, your credit, typically, if you used cars work better if your credit is not so good, typically because they're less expensive. And so the payment, when you have challenged credit, the main thing lenders are looking for is payment to income. They want to know, what do you make? What's your ability to pay? What's your stability? Have you been working where you work for a long time? And normally, if you make $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month, and your credit's not so good, they want to take a percentage of your income, and that's the payment they want. So let's just say they use 20% PTI is what they call it, payment to income. And you make $2,000 a month, they don't want to see you in a car payment much more than $400 a month.
I see. Mm-hmm.
That is the max they want to see. And if your debt to income, your DTI is more than 50%, then they may want to be at 15% of your payment to income. So there's some factors. And so what I would say to you is, it's not so much what works best for the salesperson or the consumer. It works best for what the bank's willing to do, and they kind of dictate how much down payment they'd like to see, how much commitment, what kind of payment range, because they don't want to put a loan out on somebody that makes $1,400 a month or $1,700 a month, and they got a $733 payment.
Gotcha.
But believe it or not, there are some consumers that will gladly pay $600 a month and only make $1,500. I don't know how they do, but they will.
I got you.
So a sales professional needs to guide them and do the right thing and say, hey, look, you know what? I know you think you can pay the $600 payment. Honestly, your budget is really around $325. We need to find the most car for the money because you could find yourself in a bad situation 13 months later when you can't afford the payment.
Actually, that's doing you a favor.
Absolutely.
Doing that person a favor.
That's what should happen.
Yep. All right, we're coming back with more. It is the Auto Show. Chip Lyness and Louie Herron.
Who's gonna
Got more used car nuggets coming up. This is Doc 103.9.
sedan? I want you hop inside my car. On the expressway to your